press conference and actually the kickoff of this huge statewide coalition. It's brought together
you can't stand in the middle of the doorway.
criminal justice reform groups, faith groups, public defenders, private sector criminal justice lawyers to move forward a bill that's long, long overdue, and that's criminal justice discovery reform. And we have here with us today Senator Bailey, the newly appointed chairman of the Senate Codes Committee, who is championing this very progressive discovery bill. We believe that this is one of the most progressive discovery bills in the United States. And Senator Bailey?
Thank you. So I don't want us to clap yet because I want us to continue to stand strong until we get the job done. I want to thank you all, the advocates, the folks who inspire me, those who have been affected by this blindfold law and justice. You see, as a kid growing up in the Bronx, never got in trouble. While I've had tangential things that have happened with my family and friends, I've never been affected by the justice system. So I don't have a direct story to tell you as to why this happened to me today, so we should do this tomorrow. But I believe that the time is always right to do what's right, as Dr. King said. And if we look at our criminal justice system, it's supposed to be predicated upon fairness. Lady Justice is supposed to be blindfolded, yet what happens is that if you're an accused, you're blindfolded. You're blind from seeing the evidence that's before you. And all we want is to make sure that fairness is dispensed in New York State. This is not to give defense attorneys an advantage. This is not to disadvantage prosecutors. This is about fairness. If you are accused of something, you should have the opportunity to see what you are accused of. That just seems logical, but sometimes common sense isn't always common, and the law in the state of New York allows prosecutors to withhold evidence essentially until the eve of trial. It's not fair, it's not just, it's not right. Which is the reason why we've introduced this legislation, myself and Assemblymember Lenthal, to make sure we finally, in the state of New York, get discovery reform done. Because discovery simply relates to the evidence at hand. And it allows an accused to review the evidence at hand before them. And if somebody did something, I think we would all agree that if you've done something wrong, there should be something that may take place. But if you haven't done anything wrong, and you know you haven't done anything wrong, and you simply don't have the opportunity to prove that you haven't done that wrong, that's not right. It must change, and I believe it will. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions of the senator? Law Journal, Political?
We just talked last week.
Ledger Gazette, any questions? Okay. We just want to take a couple of minutes so you can hear from some of the true victims of the withholding of discovery. First, I want to introduce to you Jeffrey Deskovic. Jeffrey served 16 years for a murder and rape he did not commit.
I was wrongfully convicted in Westchester. I served 16 years for a murder and rape which I did not commit. I was exonerated 12 years ago through DNA evidence. Inadequate discovery laws was one of the factors which led to my wrongful conviction. It inhibited my defense attorneys. There was really important information regarding the medical examiner who had been complained of in neighboring districts by law enforcement. The prosecutor withheld that evidence for my attorneys, so we were not able to make use of that. I think that it's backwards that as a plaintiff, when I brought lawsuits after I was exonerated, I had greater discovery rights bringing that lawsuit than what I did when I was a defendant defending myself against the false charges.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Next we have Anthony DePippo, who who served 20 years. Anthony was one that the prosecutors were really onto, because they retried Anthony 3 times. Every time his conviction was overturned, they went back and wanted to keep Anthony behind bars. Anthony?
I was wrongfully convicted in the county of Putnam of rape and murder of a young girl, 12 years old. And in my case, the victim was found bound and clothing articles were placed in her mouth. The district attorney had received a document with his name on it from the New York State Lab, which had a similar crime that happened 64 days prior to this crime, which with the identical modus operandi, a crime occurring about a mile away. Had that been disclosed timely, we would have been able to solve this case, and the perpetrator of that crime would have been put away, and I would not have had done 20 years. In addition to that, I was falsely accused by 4 people. They've all since recanted, and one of the persons had a deal made with them that was for 25 years to life if they cooperated. That deal was not disclosed until 2012, 16 years after I had been in prison. So today I want to say I stand with these gentlemen, these fine people, and these young women. One of my best friends, Jeff, Will Bastic. I'm proud to stand with Senator Bailey on this bill, and you know, let's get it done.
Thank you very much, Anthony. Just as a point of information, in 2008, a 16-year-old girl accused me of raping her in her shed at a yacht club. Holding diary entries that this girl had that predicted the date and time I was going to rape her, or allegedly rape her. One diary entry stated what type of drug to get my acquittal. 1 year later, I caught my wife and I.
My name is Tom Hoffman. I'm an attorney and I try to represent people. So one of my current clients, his name is Robert Majors. He was convicted in 2000 for 19 years life. He has always claimed and announced that he did not commit this crime. He wrote hundreds of letters to different lawyers and organizations. Last June, 21 years law, just before there was oral argument or submission of the case to the higher court, an affidavit that was withheld for 21 years where a co-defendant confessed prior to his even being arrested and said he had committed this crime, he had committed it with somebody else, but not with Robert Majors, and actually named the person the third perpetrator. We just got this 6 or 7 months ago. If we had this bill in place, this would have had to be turned over way before Robert Majors' mother died while he was in prison. And the second thing we got is a police statement from a witness who said that the person she saw wearing the yellow jacket, who supposedly was Robert Majors, had cornrow waist braid hair. He had short black hair. That too was suppressed. So this statement also, and this terrific tragedy would not have occurred. Thank you.
Next, I would like to introduce the organizing leader of Discovery for Justice, which has been at this for a very, very long time. And hopefully this year we're going to be working together to celebrate the passage of this bill.
Hi, my name is Saad Ahmed. I'm with an organization called Discovery for Justice. We are a non-profit organization formed about 6-7 years ago. Unfortunately, what we've seen too often is the criminal justice system tends to affect people of poor and black and brown communities more than it does other communities. That's why a community like the Bronx, we've seen this over and over and over again, where you see prosecutors using evidence as a sword, as opposed to truth. They're using it as a sword to get people to plead guilty to crimes they haven't committed, and sometimes getting them to plead guilty to something, even if they committed it, takes too long. So what we're asking to do is we're asking to pass criminal justice reform right away. We shouldn't have to wait for hours, months, days, years to get evidence. It should be done right away, and that's why it's important that we pass the Discovery for Justice Reform Act. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Darrell Herring. Darrell Herring, in 2015, I was accused of a rape charge which never happened. Prosecutor, in my case, they added from a 3-count, for 3 charges, they added a 15-count indictment. So I went from a B felony to 2A1 felony. I had a $75,000 bail. Everything was dismissed and I was exonerated. Had we had the discovery material in my case, I should have never went to jail. What ended up happening in my case was the person that accused me, we knew each other, but they had psychiatric problems. The DA knew this, so they withheld back the emergency phone record. Once that was given up, then we was able to go forward with the case. Again, I had to go all the way to trial, but after I was exonerated, it still put me in a homeless position because I had to come out and start all over again. There are many men that still on Ragged Island that suffer in the same fate that I did. Through the grace of God, we didn't have to spend 21 years like I'm hearing some of these other people, but any day off your life is too much to spend in jail. We need to open discovery, we need it open, automatic, early, and we need it now.
I'd like to introduce the Legislative Director of the New York State Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers, Andy Kossover. And Andy's been reading on this bill for many years.
Working on it. My name is Andy Kossover. It's been 40 years since New York has made any meaningful revision to their discovery laws in criminal cases. Civil attorneys, when money is at stake, receive much more disclosure, as Jeffrey pointed out, than we do when one's liberty is at stake. New York is among the worst and most restrictive jurisdictions as far as discovery in criminal cases, at the top of the United States in terms of progressive discovery reform, no matter how law and order you are. Other conservative jurisdictions like Texas, North Carolina, Virginia have passed open discovery laws. Responsibility to everyone in the system, the victims, the accused, the prosecutors, the defense, to have transparency and to have a fairer criminal justice system. Passing this bill will restore the citizens' confidence in the fairness of our criminal justice system. Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony. And just to close, we have here Alderwoman Tiffany Garriga. She is the Vice Chair of the Equity Appeal Board. She's been walking the halls with us for justice reform for many years now. So Tiffany.
Well, I just encourage you all to reach out to your representatives, your elected officials to support this bill. It makes common sense. We want everyone to have a fair trial, so don't misinterpret it as we're looking for an easy way out for criminals. This is a fair trial for everyone. This is a fair trial for everyone. You know, if you have evidence, it should be presented so your lawyer can defend you properly. It should not be presented at the last minute or for the convenience of the DA for political reasons. Fairness is what we fight for. Fairness is what we need in the criminal justice system. The discovery bill, it makes common sense, but we have to fight for it. Thank you.
And you have a press release with quotes from all the different organizations or some of the primary organizations that have been involved in this. That includes the Discovery for Justice, Vocal New York, New York State Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers, Bronx Defenders, Brooklyn Defender Services, the Innocence Project, Upstate, Downstate, and we'll probably be getting some memos of support from some international organizations. New York State United Teachers is going to be sending some memos, so unions will be supporting this bill as well. Any questions? If not,
how long do you think it will take for us to actually push this forward and have it passed?
We are actually, one of the reasons why we're holding this advocacy day today and meeting with senators and assembly people is because we'd like to see this get done before the budget passes. And we've picked up a lot of support today as well.
Thank you all for coming out, and we encourage you to continue your support, and please keep showing up with us and continue the fight.
Thank you so much. Much appreciated. That was really kind.
You're welcome.
My name is Emily Rusk.
Jeff Nesbitt. I'm in the car.
Criminal justice for
Please email me, sure. Send me a link to it. I got this one.
Your banner?
Not the banner.
Yep.
Hey, thank you.
You got lunch yet?
How did I do?
I thought you were great. Yeah, hit the finish button.